Hello, everyone. I'm AT Storm Track meteorologist Austin Haskins. We continue to track our storm system that's going to be moving through the area today and into tonight. There have been some changes to the forecast, so we're going to go through that here over the next few minutes. Here are where the alerts stand as of 7 a.m. Wednesday morning. A winter storm warning is in place for Eau Claire, Buffalo, Trempealeau, Jackson, Clark, and Taylor counties. That'll go till 7 p.m. for Eau Claire County, 10 p.m. for the rest of the counties. And then the winter weather advisory until 7 p.m. for Chippewa and Pepin counties. The one big change they made overnight, they downgraded the warning to an advisory for Pepin County, and Rusk, Dunn, and Pierce counties, you were under the advisory, but you are now out of the advisory. And we'll talk about why here in just a second. Now, you're wondering for Eau Claire County why we're still under a warning, and you'll see here in a few minutes. It's mostly for the eastern and southern parts of the county. We'll have lesser snow around the city of Eau Claire itself. So our low pressure is sitting down around the Kansas City area. We got snow out ahead of it. There's been some thunder snow across parts of northwestern Iowa. We got some rain and thunderstorms out ahead of that, even a couple of strong to severe storms in northern Iowa this morning that have prompted a few warnings. And in the warm sector of the system today in Iowa and into Illinois and Indiana, there could be some severe storms with tornadoes, hail, and wind, and that's on the warm side of this system. But what has changed over the last 12 to 24 hours? Well, the biggest thing is the system is tracked about 50 to 75 miles further south and southeast. So with that, the heavier snow and the precipitation shield has shifted south and southeast as well. The low pressure overall, when you look at the millibars, which is what we look at for low pressure measuring in this situation, the pressure is up slightly, so it's not as strong as it was initially forecasted. So with that too, the northern extent of the precipitation has shifted south and east, and there's a sharp cutoff from northwest to southeast. So let's track that out here. Here's Future Track. We're still seeing that precipitation moving into southern Minnesota this morning. And by about mid-morning or so, we'll start to see this move in. This could be in the form of some rain, even a mix. This run of Future Track, the graph model we're looking at is showing snow. And you can see that the cutoff right now is right around Durand, Eau Claire to Stanley and Medford. And then it'll kind of, wobble maybe slightly northwest before it moves back to the south and east. This evening, you can see some heavier snow rates across parts of Taylor, Clark, Jackson, and Trempealeau counties, even the eastern parts of Eau Claire County before it's out of here. And by midnight, we're starting to clear things out. Here's the HRRR model, and this one is showing rain to start, and then eventually you see it change over to snow. Here's 12:30. You have rain and snow south and east. You got that snow band right here from near Ladysmith to Menominee to Red Wing with rain to the northwest. There could be a little snow mixed in with that. And then we will actually see some snow with this system for most locations by the afternoon, even some heavy snow. Again, you can see those really dark blues showing up on the legend here, indicating some potentially moderate to heavy snowfall rates. And that'll continue through the evening, but you see it'll start to let up from west to east. And again, as we get towards mid to late evening and the overnight, we'll start to quiet things down. So before I show you my snowfall map, I want you to take a look at some of the different models for snow. And this is kind of why the forecast has been a little all over the place. So this is for Eau Claire. And you can see you have the HRRR model showing about 2.5 inches. You have 4 inches on the GFS. But look at the other 4 models showing less than an inch. Even the NAM showing nothing for Eau Claire. So again, we're right on that cutoff line for how much snow. Now let's go to Black River Falls. And you can see the totals here, still a wide range, but you notice the consensus is that the totals are going to be higher here. 4 to 6 inches. The GFS is going 9 inches. The European going only about a ½ inch. That's a little bit of an outlier there. And then going west towards and north towards Rice Lake, you can see 4 of the 6 models show nothing at all. And then a couple of them showing a little bit. So again, the farther northwest you go, you're not expecting much of any snow with this at all. But with that being said, I still think in this area in light blue, nothing to as much as an inch if we end up seeing that change over to snow or we see a more northerly shift to the track of the system. Now, Eau Claire, the city itself, I'm thinking about 1 to 3 inches. This area in light blue in general, about 1 to 4 inches. I'm thinking if you're towards Menominee and Red Wing, you're probably closer to an inch. Durand about 1 to 3 inches. But then you get south and east, really south and east of Gilman and Stanley to about Mondovi, kind of that area, somewhere in that area down to near Camp Douglas, Sparta, Toma, La Crosse. Totals could be anywhere from 3 to as much as 8 inches. And there may be an isolated spot that sees a little bit more, but that's right now where the heaviest band of snow is looking to set up. And I could very honestly see this even go farther southeast. And some of the guidance has suggested that to be the case. But we could see it maybe nudge northwest a little bit, and then maybe totals would be slightly higher around Eau Claire and Durand, but something that we'll kind of monitor closely. But regardless of how much snow you see with the system, we are going to have impacts with this because it's going to be a wet, slushy snow. Temperatures will be in the mid-30s, and some of the snow might not stick initially. Winds are going to be pretty strong today, and with the snow flying and the winds blowing as strong as they're forecasted to be, we will have some reduced visibility. In fact, before I get to that, I do expect travel impacts for the afternoon and evening commutes, and even overnight, despite the fact that we will see the snow coming to an end. Winds are still going to be a bit breezy, and temperatures are going to be going below freezing. So roads and sidewalks, things like that could become a little icy overnight. So we're going to have to kind of watch out for that. But again, you can see the wind forecast could have some gusts today up to 35, maybe 40 miles per hour. South and west of us down in southeast Minnesota and southern Minnesota, there could be some gusts up to 50 miles per hour. And again, you can see through this evening into the overnight, the winds are still going to be a bit on the breezy side. So as I mentioned, doesn't matter how much snow you have with this system, there will be travel impacts. Farther northwest, travel impacts are going to be more limited and minor in nature, but south and east, they will be a little bit higher because of the accumulation for snow. The good news is tomorrow's looking to be a really nice day. A lot of sunshine, of course. Spring officially begins at 4:01 a.m. Central Time, highs in the 40s. Low 50s Friday. Chance for a few light rain showers in the afternoon and evening. And then we're looking at another system Saturday overnight into Sunday and Monday that could bring another round of some rain and snow to the area, but we'll worry about that once we get this current system out of the area.